Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Ropes. Myself and Laurie are so pleased to have you join us. In today's episode, we want to talk about the big spectacle that happened on TalkSPORT between Simon Jordan, the notorious, the infamous Simon Jordan, and Deontay Wilder. It was explosive. It was controversial. It was a lot of things. I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about it, which we will get into. But Laurie, I would love to hear your opinion. I'm sure you watched it.
Oh, 100%.
Along with everybody else within the boxing zeitgeist and probably outside the boxing zeitgeist as well.
Yeah.
Me personally, before I kind of put you on the spot and ask for your opinion, me personally, I felt really rumbled by the whole thing. And I'm happy to talk about why that is. But I wanted to get your opinion and your take on it as well.
Right. So I think at this stage, Melissa, I should declare an interest because Simon Jordan is very familiar to me. My brother and he went at it on TalkSPORT. My brother was on TalkSPORT to talk about, you know, his work, AFTV and stuff like that. Simon Jordan went on to attack him verbally, of course, and the two of them went back and forth. My brother gave as good as he got. And ever since then, Simon Jordan, whenever you could just mention an Arsenal football match, and Simon Jordan will try and find an angle to bring up AFTV and talk about AFTV in very disparaging terms. So to keep it simple, I detest Simon Jordan. Even before the AFTV stuff, I didn't like the guy. I think he's arrogant. I think he's narcissistic. I just think he's an all-round bad egg. I don't think he has a decent bone in his body. I think he's a despicable human being. And my only regret is that why didn't Deontay chin him? but if Deontay had have done that,
obviously,
all jokes aside,
yeah.
had he have done that, he'd probably be facing jail time right now. He'd get sued, and the fight with Derek Chisora
Would be off. Yeah.
So he managed to keep a level of professionalism. But what I would say about that, I mean, I'm not sure if you're aware, Melissa, but I was told, and Derek Chisora alluded to it, that before the interview, Deontay Wilder had expressly said he does not want to be talking about Tyson Fury.
Yeah. Before we get into that, sorry, let me just give a little backstory in case people didn't catch it and in case they missed it.
Okay,
let me just say quickly what happened, what took place, what occurred. Not to cut you off. Sorry.
No. Go ahead.
So essentially, Deontay Wilder, Derek Chisora both went on TalkSPORT and they were there with Simon Jordan and Spencer Oliver. Although Spencer Oliver, you know, was trying to mediate the situation a little bit, you know, kind of oil it up a little bit. And I think he was given an impossible task, really and truly. The main people, I think, that kind of stood out in that setting was Simon Jordan and Deontay Wilder. The reason being is that Simon Jordan posed the question about Tyson Fury. Now,
and the allegations that Deontay Wilder had previously made, which is that he felt Tyson Fury had cheated in their 3 fights.
Absolutely. Now, I want to give a little bit of a side on both, which is that Deontay Wilder has recently, in the last couple of weeks, spoken about, these cheating allegations publicly. So I assume that Simon Jordan was sort of piggybacking off of what he's already said publicly. And then when he mentioned it, Deontay Wilder very assertively said, you know, I don't want to talk about Tyson Fury. What we didn't know at the time is what you were alluding to, which is supposedly, well, I don't know, but it's been stated, Derek Chisora alluded to the fact that prior to that interview and that setting, Deontay Wilder had expressly said, I don't want to talk about Tyson Fury. So I guess that's the backstory.
Yeah, so that's what I heard. And indeed, when you hear the extended version of the interview, as I saw yesterday online, when the altercation happened, Derek Chisora actually says to Simon, you're out of order because you were told Deontay didn't want to talk about Tyson Fury, yet you still did it. And this is an ode to what Simon Jordan's like. He then tried to excoriate Derek Chisora and then ended up calling him a dickhead. Now, which presenter do you know, Melissa, that talks to a top, let alone professional fighter, any athlete like that? So that kind of gives you an insight into the type of person that Simon Jordan is. And what I would say about, I hear what you're saying about the Deontay Wilder not wanting to talk about Fury, even though he'd mentioned it previously. Listen, he's there to promote the fight with Derek Chisora. They're in the studio. They have a finite amount of time. I think Deontay Wilder is perfectly within his rights to say, look, we don't want to talk about Fury. I'm here to promote the fight with Derek. I think that's fine. He doesn't
No,
have to talk about
I totally agree.
Tyson
I
Fury.
totally agree. Particularly, listen, as an interviewer yourself, I know as we both do this job.
Yeah.
We both do the role. If we brought anyone onto our show, it's our job to make them feel comfortable.
Exactly.
So if anyone came onto our show, soon some of you will be coming onto our show. I'm just warning you. But if anyone came here and said, I don't want to talk about this subject, there's no way at all, in any way, shape or form, I would bring that up because I don't want to make them uncomfortable. I don't want to put them on the spot. I don't want to ruin a good bridge that we've built, a professional bridge that we've built. And this is the thing that really annoys me, thoroughly annoys me about Simon Jordan. It's like I've never had massively strong opinions on him. I just kind of like, it's Simon Jordan, it's whatever.
Have you not seen him?
Well,
because if you did see a lot of him, then you would have strong
I don't
opinions
engage that
about
much
him.
with his content because I'm like, I don't like it, so I don't engage with it. But for me, it's just like, dude, are you really comfortable just going around being the most hated guy in boxing? Not giving a shit about who you're offending,
Since
who you're
when has he
upset.
become this connoisseur or purveyor of boxing anyway?
And also what really bugged me as well was just there was a few things and I'll talk about all of them, but one thing was he kind of framed one of the questions. He was like, I don't want to ask anything negative. It's like, that's all you do.
Exactly.
All you do is ask negative things. All you do is rile people up and be provocative. That really pissed me off. And another thing that really pissed me off as well is okay, you guys have gotten into this heated exchange. Deontay Wilder is speaking about his experience, his lens as a black man.
Yeah.
And you as a white man, how dare you interrupt him when he's talking? Yeah. I understand you're trying to get it back onto one track, but the respectful thing, the humble thing to have done in that moment was let him speak.
Let him vent. And
let him say what he needs to say. Let him feel heard. Let him feel listened to. You're not going to get it. You're not going to understand.
I think basically the point that Deontay Wilder was trying to make, he was saying that in the past he feels that people have spoken down on him and not believed what he said because he feels being a black man coming up against the white establishment. I think that was the point he was trying to make. He didn't articulate it exceptionally well because he was angry.
He was upset, yeah.
And then you're quite right. You have Simon Jordan at the other end being condescending and basically accusing him of playing the race card and stuff, but without listening to what the guy said.
Yeah, and saying things like, I get it. Well, no, you don't.
Of course he doesn't get it. And he's not trying to get it. He's not trying to listen. As I said, a thoroughly unpleasant, disrespectful, and I would say a despicable human being. And I mean that strongly. I really detest the guy. I mean, listen, Simon Jordan, who is Simon Jordan, he would appear to have a certain level of intellect. He likes to use these posh words, but no amount of purple prose and posh verbiage will get away from the fact that this guy is an all-round dickhead. He really is, honestly.
Yeah, I mean...
And I just find him objectionable. I really do.
Yeah, I think it's bizarre. I really do find it bizarre. I understand that, I mean, he's just lucky that TalkSPORT get behind him, is all I can say, because I feel like, man, I don't know. I just feel like he lures these people down to the studio to then just provocate them.
Yeah, it's an ambush.
It feels like an ambush. And actually, I'm kind of sick of it, although I do watch it. Cause...
The man's there to promote a fight with Derek Chisora, which is a very sellable fight. There's a lot of people who are interested in the fight. As I said, you have a finite amount of time to ask questions. You've got Derek in the studio. I think it's disrespectful to Derek to be talking about another man's fights when these two are going to square off on April the 4th.
Well, you talk about this disrespect to Derek. Actually, I know that you and I both don't particularly agree with lots of Derek's politics and whatever.
Definitely not his politics.
But I found it really strange how early on in the interview, Simon Jordan was and not to make this a political thing, but Simon Jordan said to Deontay Wilder, are you a supporter of Trump? Because your friend over there, he supports reform and he's a supporter of Trump. And I thought, how is that relevant to what
exactly?
The
you
proceedings?
You know how ironic that is as well, because apparently, I don't know this for sure, but Simon Jordan's partner is a spokesperson for reform.
I don't
so I
understand.
hear.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't understand.
And I don't want to get into politics, but you are right about that. What has that got to do?
What's that got to do with the fight?
With Wilder and Chisora on April the 4th.
Yeah.
So the mere fact that he's bringing all these things up, like I said, it was just an ambush. Fair play to Deontay. He wasn't having it. And he let him know that in his own inimitable way. And like I said, had the security not have been there, it looked like that could have been a real incident.
Yeah. That did look a bit. That looked a bit like a close call. I have seen on YouTube something like Simon Jordan reflects on, and I haven't watched it, and I will watch it later. And I wonder what his reflections are. I'm sure that they've. Well, I want to say. Sure.
I would imagine he's taken a lot of stick for it, because I was very offended, and I spoke to a few people last night. I did a video on my channel. Please check it out on LO Sports TV. And after I did the video, a few people contacted me and said fair dues, because I went in on Simon Jordan, as you can imagine, because I don't like the guy. I think he's obnoxious. I think he's disrespectful. He's condescending. And Melissa, I have it on good authority from a few people I know that have worked at TalkSPORT that he's not very popular there either.
I can imagine.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure he's the
speaks
same
to
off
the
camera.
staff and the contributors in a similar kind of way. I don't know how he's been allowed to get away with this for so long, honestly.
I'm telling you, it must be because he's so controversial. It gets clicks and views, and that's what it is. And
he's playing a dangerous
And this
game.
is what we alluded to in the episode we recorded just prior to this, which is like we do live in this time now where if you are a controversial character and you do bring a lot of eyes to platforms and channels, you are just allowed to sort of do whatever. But
and you know what the irony of that is as well? Is that everything you just said is true, by the way. But here's the thing. So when my brother went on the show, he basically accused my brother and AFTV of manipulating fans so to get clicks and views on his channel, when all my brother does, he provides a platform for people to speak. He doesn't tell them what to speak. He doesn't ask provocative questions. He asks them about the game. And then they will vent if the game hasn't gone their way, or they will praise if the game has gone their way. Now, he seems to have a big problem with YouTubers doing that, but yet on his platform on TalkSPORT, all he seems to want to do is to ambush people and try and get them triggered and riled up. And with Deontay Wilder, he bit off more than he could chew.
Yeah, he did. And you know, perhaps when you're like first watching it, you might be like, oh wow, Wilder had quite a big reaction to that. But I totally understand that reaction on multiple levels, but specifically, like as someone who's in the industry, we've done this role. If you've invited someone there and they said, I don't want to talk about this subject, you don't bring that subject up. End of story.
Especially when it has nothing to do with the fight coming up with Chisora.
Exactly.
What happened? They last fought in 2020, right? Nearly 6 years ago.
Yeah, long time
Fury
ago,
and
yeah.
Wilder. That is long gone. Wilder's actually said that he doesn't want to talk about the allegations he's made against Fury too much, because he said, and I've heard him say this, that he intends to put it in his book.
Yeah. Or his documentary or something.
Yeah, or something like that. He said words to that effect. So, and the man said to you, I don't want to talk about it. So why are you pressing him? And then the thing is, the man said, I don't want to talk about it. And he's still pressing him.
Yeah, it was totally uncalled for. It was an ambush, as you said. But, you know, we'll put that to the side for now. I just want to touch on a couple of other things. So I'm quite conscious of time.
Sure.
So big news, MVP are making their UK debut. Most valuable promotions. I was going to say
Jake Paul.
Yeah, Jake Paul, exactly. Well, Jake Paul's stable of female boxers, not Jake Paul. And it looks to be a really, really exciting card. The fight that I'm particularly interested to see is Caroline Dubois versus Terry Harper. I said a while ago on a episode I did on this channel that a great litmus test for Caroline Dubois would be to face Terry Harper, because obviously there's been this back and forth between herself and Alicia Baumgardner.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, we all are. And Alicia kind of holds herself, you know, in high regard in terms of her accomplishment. Caroline's like, I've got what it takes, you know. I've got what it takes.
Was it Baumgardner called her a puppy?
She called her a puppy.
And she said
compared
she's
herself
the
to a big dog.
Yeah.
Love it. Love the energy.
Typical American.
Yeah.
But I'm here for it.
I'm here as well.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, going off of what I said before, it will be a fantastic litmus test. Yeah. And I think it builds up the fight between her, the future fight, hopefully, between her and Alicia so well. But it's great to see MVP over a UK side with a huge card with the likes of Caroline Dubois, Terry Harper, Ellie Scottney on it as well.
I think Chantel Cameron's on it.
Chantel Cameron's on it, yeah. So
you know what? I'm going to give Jake Paul his credit, because you know, for those of you who are familiar with me, you will know that I've not been, to say the least, a fan of Jake Paul. But one thing I've always given him credit for is his work with women's boxing.
Agreed.
And the card, like you said, I'm really looking forward to it. We must try and go on the night.
I think we should go.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I really rate Caroline Dubois. I think she's an excellent fighter. Terry Harper's a good fighter as well. Maybe on that decline.
On the decline, yeah,
So
definitely.
I fully expect Caroline to win, but I do think she'll be tested. So it'll be a great fight and a great card. And yeah, I'm for it, man.
Yeah, we're really excited.
Let's do it.
Let's definitely go. I think that's a good way to
100%.
go. And I think a positive note to finish the show on as well. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. We're so pleased to have you join us. And please remember to comment, like, share, and subscribe. And we'll catch you on the next episode of Beyond the Ropes.